Okay, hi. I've seen you on Maria's live before, so I think you're of age. So,
Yeah,
great. Thoughts on the topic?
yeah. So people say God is a myth that can't be proven, right? And some people say also atheist God isn't real. Same thing. But I'm gonna give you a great like analogy to explain our position here on why we believe in God and also his situation. So essentially, imagine if there was a prison guard, right? And you're a prisoner, and he was to watch every single move you made, would you not feel controlled in that scenario?
Um, if are you trying to say if God was looking? Oh, wait, what do you? Can you elaborate? I didn't quite get that
Yeah,
analogy.
it's just simple. If you was a prisoner, right, and a prison guard was to watch over your every single move,
I've
every
been
single
I've
move,
been in jail, so yeah.
yeah, would you not feel controlled, right?
Uh, Not really. I mean, it's rules, right? I mean,
Well, no,
I don't.
because if a prison guard wasn't in, let's say a prison guard was to go on his break, you feel more free, right, to do what you
Well,
want.
here's the thing with jail. I've got first-hand experience. They don't look and watch you the whole time. They don't sit there and just monitor you. They wander around. They do their thing. They chat to everyone. It's just
Yes,
right.
but
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
giving
really
an
feel
analogy.
controlled. I know, but
But
I
I'm
don't feel
giving a
controlled, is what I'm telling you.
No, but I'm giving an analogy where you have a guard for some odd reason. He's constantly watching your every move, every move. Just in this one scenario, right? You would feel controlled, right? In this case, so it's the same thing with God.
Not controlled, maybe not controlled, just watched.
I mean, sure, if you want to put it that way, but anyways, the thing is with God, right? We're in a position. He puts us in a position where He does not want us to feel like we're controlled. So He's distanced Himself away from us and allowed us to essentially use our free will to. But He's put out more than enough evidence of His existence, and He's left us a manuscript of
Oh
how
wait,
we should live our lives.
one second, Naru. Everyone's saying it's really bad audio. Is my setup not working, or
It's just a little too.
That is the best.
wait? Hold up. What was that, Justine?
It's a little too sensitive. It's picking up your breathing.
Oh, we can hear you breathe. Oh, awkward. Okay, so move it. Oh, is that all it is? Okay, let me just. Is that better? Or maybe it's not me.
Yes, it's better.
Okay, maybe it's. I don't know. Maybe it was me. Maybe it's not. Awkward. Okay, carry on, Naru. Sorry.
Yeah. What I'm
The
pretty
breathing.
much getting at is it would be an unfair. I don't know. It's like there would be no reason for Christianity if or anything if God was if we was to prove, like, no Christian can prove quite literally that God exists. Okay, but it would kind of go against the religion, because that's not how it works. Because we're supposed to both faith. If God was to prove Himself to us, there would be
Thank
no
you.
need for, there would be no need for faith, or no need for us to well, we would essentially have no control in our lives whatsoever, because we feel
Well, I
monitored
think
constantly.
right, but I think for me that's the faith part is where I don't find that enough for me to
What, but,
be satisfied that a God exists.
but the problem is, right? What evidence would you need for you to just
Something
accept it?
empirical.
What would you count as empirical?
Something. So for me, I would probably want something that, like, I don't know, something that is supernatural, that that shows some sort of great mind behind it,
Are
like
you not?
something supernatural in the skies, in the cosmos, somewhere in the universe where we can see it and be like, this thing is intelligent.
Would you not say human beings are this supernatural, intelligent being.
No, we're natural. I wouldn't say we're supernatural.
But given the look at us compared to animals, would you not say there's like quite a significant like difference?
Well, we are more intelligent than them, sure. But you're asking me if I believe, how would I believe something that's more intelligent than humans? And I'm saying that that's what it would take.
But are you saying that's what it would take for you, or would you not? Would you not say that that's what? Well, for everyone to witness this supernatural thing.
I'm not really bothered about everyone, because everyone, like, there's many people that don't even need to see what I need to see to believe God. So there's people that don't even need, they just can read that book and go, I'm satisfied, right?
Yeah.
But not me. I don't know about Justine and Robbie. Oh, sorry, Robbie, go.
I'd add to that, Nadu. I would be happy with a deductive argument, so long as the premises are grounded in reality and can be justified. And so for me, a solid argument would work for me, so long as the premises are grounded in reality, is what I'm saying.
So what I would give you then is, let's say the Big Bang Theory is something that you believe in. The Big Bang Theory is logical for the universe to somehow make itself for the universe to have a well,
this is Robbie's domain. So this is Robbie's domain. Robbie's bread and butter. So this is a great question to ask while he's here.
Yeah. So for the universe to just randomly decide one day, you know what, I want to be something, and no intelligence behind that decision, it's illogical. But what would make more sense is that God, if we're looking for a more reasonable explanation, the Bible talks about how everything was made, how everything came into existence. That seems more reasonable than the Big Bang and the universe, deciding to randomly make itself at a certain point in time. It doesn't make sense. Like, why? Okay, so Rob, why did the universe not decide to come into existence now? Why did it decide to make itself? So,
do you know anything about the Big Bang? And like when it gets to like the origins of the universe, and do you know what the Big Bang says about like the origins?
Well, to summarize, it's essentially the universe, a whole bunch of atoms colliding with one another, and then the whole bang, the Big Bang came from, and the universe exploding with planets and cosmos.
Can I just interrupt really fast? This is not the correct picture of the Big Bang, because atoms didn't exist at this point when we're talking about the early epochs. And so what all the Big Bang states is that the universe was in a hot, dense state, and it started to expand. And we can observe this expansion, and we can observe the universe being in a more dense and hot configuration in the earlier epoch of our universe. And in fact, we've been able to reproduce some of the conditions of the early universe in the Large Hadron Collider. And this is how we've been able to empirically test the Big Bang model to show and demonstrate our understanding, and that this model is the best model that we've been able to produce thus far. So,
hold on, isn't the model that you're talking about? Wasn't that disproven when they tried to do the experiment? It did not prove that it was said that the Big Bang is still essentially theoretically impossible. Their model failed.
No. I don't know where you're reading that from. There are still questions that need to be investigated, and there are mysteries about the universe that we don't know. That is true. But to say that like our model, which gives an explanation for cosmological redshift, the cosmic microwave background, and all of the experiments that we've conducted in the Large Hadron Collider, it is still consistent with these observations, and that still holds to this day. Now, if you go back far enough, we have issues with things that we can't probe the universe at high enough energies to understand what's going on at the origin. So we don't draw conclusions about creation. We don't draw conclusions about where universes come from. All we know is that it was in a hot, dense state, and from that we start to the model explains everything from that point after the expansion, a fraction of a second.
Yes, but again, for me, would you agree on me if I was to say, agree with me if I was to say that for us, for the complexities of this life, the creation in nature, just the creation of the universe alone, humans, animals, all the design, would you say, agree when I say, for me, if I was to say, for these things to come from, when you say hot density, essentially nothing is for me, I would say that's idiocy. I'd say it's nonsense.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you can say that it's nonsense, but it's something that we observe. Right?
Yeah, this
And
has been proven time and time again from many scientists throughout history have seen and documented these things, these findings.
It's not proven, it's theory.
It's a scientific
I think
theory.
This is the difference is that, like, you have maybe a colloquial understanding of what we mean by when we use the term theory in science. And this is completely different to the general term that's used as a theory. It's like a guess. When we say that we've constructed a theory, these are models that have been tested by multiple scientists around the world that demonstrate and have further validated the models that we're talking about here. So that when you're talking about like a guess, this is what we call a hypothesis, right? And so when it comes to the origins of the universe, there are multiple different ideas or hypotheses that scientists have provided, which are still speculated about. So they're not things that we are like, okay, this is for sure that there's a multiverse or the singularity exists or we live in a cyclic universe or God created the universe. These are things we can't draw conclusions about because there's no way for us to empirically investigate these questions. All we can do is argue about them and to see which model seems to be the most reliable or which one is more parsimonious. So for that, I would argue that your argument that God is the most reasonable answer, I would disagree wholeheartedly, because I don't know how you can draw that conclusion with, and I can actually provide other models that are consistent with the Big Bang model that would be more, give more, at least take on less assumptions, which for me would be more reasonable than to take on extra assumptions. And you have to then explain all of the miracles and things that God or Jesus Christ conducted while he was here on earth. And this makes it a lot more complicated if you take on the view of an intelligent designer, for example, and if you adhere to Christianity.
Well,
Yep.
the thing is though, the complexity in life and creation alone is a higher being the explanation and the reason to why this is possible is much more reasonable than we just came from hot air. It's like
Hot air.
yeah, well that's just, hot air essentially.
Well, hold up.
that's
No, that's not. Yeah, sorry, Justin. You haven't actually spoken much. Do you want to say something?
Oh, it's all good. That's not where the Big Bang Theory teaches to, or what we come from. So, Jan, if I could help you too with your argument, you'd have a better time with creationism in the, well, pick one creation story too in the Genesis book. Unless you're trying to prove that the universe existed and came from God when he created everything in the 7-day story.
What you saying? You want me to prove that?
Well, you're using that as your basis, right? That God created everything.
Yeah.
So you're going with the 7-day story for in the
Yes.
beginning there was nothing, and then God created light, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So what you're saying is God created this Big Bang thing.
I wouldn't necessarily say the Big Bang specifically, but you could somewhat give him, I don't know, you can give him credit for creation.
Well, we
everything,
have
so-
evidence for everything that we see in the observable universe coming from a center point of origin, right? You know that's a thing. Like we
But you do know.
looked at this and it's objective.
But the thing is, though, you will never. You can give it. There can be as much speculation, but you will never truly know because you weren't around during the time. You don't have.
It's not speculation. It's something that we can observe. We've gone out. We've seen.
This is
right. We've
yeah.
touched
This is
the grass,
observable.
and it's reproducible.
Put it this way: Can you say factually that evolution is real?
Yes.
Have you
It
seen?
depends on what your definition of evolution
this
is,
way,
because I
have you-
know creationists can get a little confused with what evolution is. So, do you mean like microevolution or macroevolution?
I'm talking about human evolution. Have you witnessed the process of human evolution happening in front of your eyes?
Well, no, because
No,
it takes.
because it takes.
Okay.
Yeah. It takes a
so-
very, very long time. It's something that doesn't happen in a single human's lifetime.
Okay. So again,
Like
theory, speculation.
our
You
last.
can't-
When was it? When was the last known hominid before Homo sapiens? I think it was like, was it 10 or 15,000 years ago? Something like that. Oh, I can't
Well,
remember.
what I'm getting at is, it's like we will never truly know. We can only, we're sure people can speculate. They can try provide evidence.
We
but
can
we'll
see
never-
evolution. We can see evolution happening. Do you know what evolution is?
Again, I mean, you can try give a reason to why we have fossils, but I can give another reason to.
No, I'm asking you, do you know what evolution is?
I understand. Well, there's different types of evolution.
No, that's why I'm asking what you think it is.
Evolution is. What do you mean? Well, I'd say
I'm asking you what you think evolution
My
is.
perspective on evolution is adaptation. I don't believe in evolution.
Adaptation is evolution.
No, I wouldn't say so. In my stance, let's say if someone has a mutation, right, and that mutation is passed on through genes, I would say that is adaptation.
No, that's mutation. No, hold up. No. You're confusing. You're confusing. You're confusing. You've got to understand between adaptational changes and mutational changes. They're different.
If someone's born, right, let's say with what's that thing
An
at the bottom
adaptation. Pardon?
What's that thing at the bottom of people's feet? What's it called again? I forgot. Callus. Is it callus?
Calluses are obtained. That's something that you can get over time.
Well,
You mean like if someone's born with like an extra digit on their toe or something?
and I'd say, let's say indigenous areas where the ground is harder. You know, the people in the area would obviously grow.
Let's use a different example. How about the tailbone?
No, I wouldn't say that's.
It's
that's not-
adaptational. Like we don't need those. We don't need tails anymore, which is why we have the tailbone with no tail.
Even the whole tailbone theory. I don't believe we grew.
It's
out.
not a theory. What do you? You can feel that on your body. You can feel
I'm saying
them.
yes, but I'm saying the purpose behind it. I don't think it's just because we evolved from monkeys and we had tails. I believe there's another reason behind it, but it's just not that one.
We didn't evolve from. People often think we evolved from chimpanzees. We touched them at one stage. They're great ancestors, but they're not. We didn't come directly from a chimpanzee or anything.
Yeah, but I don't. Again, but the thing is, what I'm saying is, though, to conclude even on the topic, right, is you will never truly know if you have not witnessed, if we haven't witnessed these things ourselves. They can say anything. Scientists can say we have somewhat made a replica of.
We
what
have.
happened
Well, hold on. We
600
have
million
witnessed
years ago.
evolution, though. We have witnessed evolution. I'm asking you to show me that God exists, and
Hold on. How have we witnessed evolution?
we can see it in different animals.
Which again, like how we witness evolution, like given a
Because we witness it, we can see it. There's a fruit fly experiment. There's a fruit fly experiment. You can even YouTube it and see. And these fruit flies that went in, when they came out, they were no longer able to breed with the same breed of fruit fly that went in. They weren't able to breed with them. They were a different species, essentially.
Sounds like adaptation, but give a better example.
Evolution. That's evolution for you.
That's adaptation. Give a better
Adaptation
example.
is a form
my
of
God.
microevolution.
I don't see. it as
You're
same
arguing
thing.
the same thing.
Okay, give a better example over them fruit fries. Come on, because that's the.
Why? Because you don't like it? Because you don't agree with it?
No,
That's a perfect example of evolution.
I'd give you an even better example for yourself. Fossil record.
No. First, I need you to acknowledge that this is evolution. Robbie, do you want to add anything?
adaptation isn't.
I will jump in soon. I did want to address one point, but we moved pretty far from that, so I don't want to derail the conversation.
Okay, sorry. Just put your hand up at any time and just... if I see your thing unmute, I'll know you want to speak.
That's sweet. Yeah, no problems.
But essentially, though, you can't tell me that you witnessed evolution if a bunch of people have concluded something. If no one's witnessed evolution happening.
No, no one's... Where did I say no one's witnessed it? I just gave you examples of how we've witnessed it.
That's a terrible...
You can witness it yourself. You can witness it yourself.
Hold on. Have you witnessed humans grow from, let's say fishes, from the sea, from sea?
No, because that's ridiculous. That doesn't happen.
But you haven't witnessed us grow from...
No, because that's not how evolution works. We don't turn from a fish to a human. That's ridiculous.
Well, isn't just to summarize, isn't that what evolution is? That we came from the sea, then we started to walk on land.
Millions of years ago, not now.
Okay. So that's yes. So I was right when I said to conclude,
No. I don't think you understand the process. Again, we didn't go from fish to humans. There was so many things in between.
I'm just summarizing. That's not a wrong summarization.
That's not a summary. That's not a summary.
Can I just say, Nadu, it was very much like when you tried to give us an explanation of the Big Bang, you were misrepresenting what the Big Bang was. Likewise with evolution here, I think you don't have a proper understanding and how things do evolve, like how we share common ancestors with different species that we observe today, and we can test this through DNA sequencing, right? And not only that, the fossil records that are available that are all consistent with the model itself, with the theory of evolution. So for me, yes, you brought up the point, science doesn't go out to determine things with 100% certainty, but we can demonstrate things with a high level of confidence. And this is why when I speak, you probably notice it, that I never say things assertively with absolute knowledge, because what we're trying to show and demonstrate is what is most likely to be true. And as of yet, the theory of evolution has been tested so thoroughly, and also the evidence supports this model. And for you to come up and just say you don't believe it, for me, I would be skeptical as if you do have a genuine understanding of evolution, and secondly, if you're just rejecting it because it conflicts with your religious beliefs.
Put it this way, right? If the evidence that God is real was out there, right? If there was irrefutable evidence that God existed, what could that mean for every single person on this planet?
I'd believe it. I mean, if there was evidence that I could not deny, and I was like, wow, there it is. There's Jesus Christ. Hi.
Yeah.
I'd believe it.
Okay, right. So given that scenario, right, where if we were to find out the truth,
would you do the same thing?
I mean, I already believe.
No, not with God. Not with God. Not with God. If you were shown something that proved evolution, would you believe it?
Proved no.
Like the fruit fly experiment.
You can't prove something that you've not witnessed with yourself.
Well, that's why I'm asking you. If I show you the experiment, will you go, oh, there we go?
If for some odd reason my body just never died and I lived throughout millions of years.
No, that's not what I'm asking you. I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you a very specific question.
But there's no certainty in what you're saying. That's not certain.
Neither's God, but here we go. But I'm just asking you. You asked me a question and I answered it honestly.
Yeah, so
okay. You said if there was... Hold up, I'm not finished speaking. You asked me a question, I answered it honestly. You asked me if there was irrefutable evidence, would I believe? And I said, yes, I would. Now, I asked you the same thing, and you are just pivoting all around it and not answering me.
Wait, say that. So you asked me if there was irrefutable evidence that evolution exists.
Yeah, if I show you this fruit fly experiment to show that these fruit flies were no longer able to breed with the same breed that they went in with, so that's evolution.
So the issue is we have a different...
Thanks for the corgi.
So the problem is we have a different understanding of evolution. If you, let's say human evolution, right? If you was to say if we had,
I've given you examples of that also.
yeah, but if you was to say if we had irrefutable evidence that human, like with certainty that human beings evolved, I would believe.
We have. We have evolved. We've gone from. There's how many? How many Homo species can we name? Like Homo erectus, Homo hybrigensis, Homo habilis, Homo sapiens. Should I go on? There's been many evolutions.
The problem is, right? That isn't with certainty. That isn't 100% certainty.
That is certain. It's 100% certain.
Okay, Robbie, can you confirm her claim right here that evolution is 100% certain?
What I want to address here is that when we're speaking in scientific terms, we can't ever have 100% knowledge about certain things. So in this case here, what you're sort of trying to tie to is what I'm seeing here is the little uncertainty, which is very, very, very tiny, because all of the evidence points and supports the theory of evolution, and that little small bit of uncertainty that we have, this is what you're trying to lean on to justify your rejection of evolution. This is where I would disagree with you here.
Put it this way,
because sorry, just 1 second, because I could doubt everything in the universe, but that's not useful, right? For me to sit here and just reject everything around me. So we do make some assumptions in some of the models that we develop, but these are justified assumptions.
Okay. I can give you a great example of certainty. Can you see the sky?
Religion. We're talking about. No, you need to prove your religious certainty.
I
can come up with a scenario to say, yes, I see the sky, but I could just say it's just a hallucination. I can make up some kind of scenario to reject that. The one thing that I know that I can't reject is my experience that I'm having here at this present moment.
Well, it's certain that you can see the sky, right? That's
well, how do you know that you're seeing the sky too, right? How do you know your eyes aren't lying to you? Because we know that vision fails after time too, or people do have hallucinations of seeing things that aren't there. So do you know the sky is actually there for real?
I mean, that's just...
Wait, hold 1 second. Also, blind people may not know what a sky is. People that are born blind may not know what a sky is. So to them, you can't say something's 100% like that. Because a blind person may be like, what's the sky? Well, I don't know what that is. I can't see it.
Talking philosophy, and now Crack Up wants to come up.
I was given a scenario of those that can observe the sky.
I don't want to go down this track here because this is sort of going down the philosophical path. But what I'm trying to point out to you is that when we have evidence that supports the theory of evolution, what you're doing is you're trying to find the small uncertainty that we have when we make when we draw conclusions in science, and you're trying to leverage off that to reject it. And for me, this is what I find extremely strange, because the amount of evidence that supports it would require an extraordinary form of evidence for us to start to at least change the framework of what evolution is. And everything that you're presenting today by no means has done that.
Well, this is the you see, and this is the thing though. When it comes to certainty, I'll give you a great example on like my perspective on evolution. I can give my own explanation to how we where these fossils come from, and it's still reasonable.
Your explanation. Okay, great. Well, I want to hear it first, but I want to point out that even with the smallest amount of proof of evolution, it's still significantly higher than the proof of God.
Okay, so
and which God too? That's another question. But continue.
Yeah. So here's my understanding on where this whole evolution theory came from. What they've done is
Hi, Mel.
They've denied the existence of giants, and what we see, the evolutionary path of humans, that's actually just younger giants. That's the way that I see it.
Well, what's a giant? What is a giant? I mean, we've got people that are very, very tall.
Well, from my understanding, a giant is a half human and half fallen angel hybrid.
A giant.
That's my understanding.
Well, a giant is just a tall person. So, back back in the days, right? Humans were much smaller than they were now. Homo sapiens, even the species before us, and the species before them, they were, some of them were quite small, especially in the what region is it? What was that? The Denisovans, is it? Oh, I can't remember. My mind's a little foggy right now. Excuse me.
What I'm associating is that the evolutionary path of these individuals, as the Homo sapiens and what's not, they're just younger giants. That's my take. So that could be certain. I mean, not certain.
I don't understand. But okay.
But
I don't understand what this has to do with.
No, but what I'm saying, why this goes back to the point is that if there was evidence of a God, which I know, which from my understanding, the evidence is there, irrefutable evidence that we have a God. I'd
like to see it.
Again, what I went to is what could it mean? And this is why.
No. You said there's irrefutable evidence of God.
Yes.
I'm asking what that looks like. What does this evidence look like to someone like myself?
Yes, there is. What is the evidence? And the evidence is, the firmament. Boom.
Oh God.
That's the irrefutable evidence. That is.
Okay, and who's cleaning this firmament? What is it made of? Who's cleaning it? Are the Oompa Loompas up there with their little mops?
An unbreakable substance, and that's why
what is that substance?
Well, that's something that
you don't know, do you? Because it's uncertain. It means it's not true.
No. Because this is not documented. This is a heavenly material. But what could it mean for
allegedly?
But this is the thing, though. You guys are not hearing me out. If people were to find out we was to live under a dome, it would change everything. That's why we're not told that we live under a dome. It would be irrefutable evidence that we have a God.
Well, here's the thing. We can break that. We can debunk that evidence because we've been through this alleged firmament and been to the moon.
Have you? How do you?
Which is outside of Earth.
But how do you? Have you been to the moon? Have you gone to space? You haven't. So
I haven't, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist and that we haven't been there. We've been there 6 times.
There we go. We've been
there. We've got proof of being to the. We've got video footage of people walking on the moon.
So, what if I was to tell you they recorded that in underwater lab? What could you say?
Robbie, just speak up, okay? Just honestly, if you want to say something, don't be so nice,
Robbie.
I know you're itching to jump in here.
Disprove what I'm saying when I say it was just recorded in an underwater lab. Okay, disprove it.
Oh my God. Okay, Robbie will probably disprove you in about 5. Wait, hold up 1 second. Robbie will probably disprove you in about 5 minutes tops.
And CGI. There we go. Throw that in. Just throw that in there. Go on, disprove it.
So I just wanted to point out that Mitch and I were just discussing that he was saying that giants have the capability of evolving, yet everything else doesn't. And this is just something that I think is a flaw in his thinking.
No.
It's not consistent across everything.
I didn't say
that was one thing that I wanted to point out.
No, hold on. I didn't say giants evolved. I wasn't saying that. Just to throw that in there. I was just associating these fossils with younger giants, that's all. But anyways, continue.
I'm pretty sure you did.
No, I was saying
But if you take it back, then I'll take that statement back. But
I didn't say we.
Okay, this giant thing is going to go nowhere.
Yeah. Anyways, but
right, the moon. Yeah.
So this proved that
the firmament.
This proved what I'm saying, Robbie. When I say they just made it, this is also the videos that we have in the moon were recorded in the underwater lab, and it's with CGI.
Oh, look, Paleo's here. How exciting. Hi, Paleo. This person's denying evolution and now denying that. But anyway, I'm going to let Robbie continue on this for a second.
So Robbie, let's prove it.
Yes, so what I don't see exactly is, are you like talking about the videos itself? You're taking contention with the videos of what's been filmed of the landing or whatever, of the moon landing and things like this.
Yep.
Yeah. So
oh my God, no.
Disprove it. I'm saying disprove it.
Prove what?
That we went. No, I mean what my claim that it was just recorded underwater in a secret lab and it's CGI.
The moon landing or the simulation or the training? Which one?
The moon landing.
The actual moon landing?
Yeah.
Okay.
The recorded moon landing.
Why
Easy.
would Robbie have to disprove your positive claim?
I'm
You're the
saying.
one making the accusation.
No, the thing is, I'm saying, can you disprove it? Can you disprove what I'm saying?
Well, to be fair, this came about because you made the positive claim that there's a firmament and
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
not. So you have to prove that there's a firmament. But I said that we broke through the firmament, quote unquote firmament, and then went to the moon. Now you're just saying that the moon landing didn't happen. So Robbie is going to explain to you how he doesn't have to, but he's going to explain to you that the moon landing did happen and that this is not a lie. Continue, Robbie. I will mute, and so will Justine.
Well, could I please just first address the firmament claim? Is that all good?
Go ahead.
And engage on this. Is that all good, Haley? Yeah. So when you're talking about like the firmament, what do you think? What is that?
Well, it's essentially a round dome that covers the Earth, made of an unbreakable material.
And so there's two things I want to address here. The level of skepticism that you criticize science with, why do you not hold that same level of skepticism when it comes to the firmament?
Well, I'm a believer in my book. That's why.
Right, but can you see, like, none of us here have observed a firmament other than people claiming that when SpaceX sent up a rocket and it started to fall back, that it hit the firmament.
No, it's just the fact that we as humans individually, we can't go up to space on let's say, I don't know, just to prove it subjectively. So let's say you as a person, you as an individual, you cannot go to space. You cannot prove that. You couldn't do that unless you were authorized and approved, and for somewhat appointed to fly to space through NASA. Okay, that's the only, but that would still be unlikely. And
so our institute, we develop technology for into space, into orbit, right? And so I work with the European Space Agency, which is completely different to NASA, and we have launched things up into space. So what essentially you're saying here is that all of the work that our research institute is centered around is bullshit. And me being a first-hand person that works with people on these specific topics and helps to develop this technology and these detectors, basically you're saying that me being immersed in this field and having an understanding of everything is just false.
You could have every scientific explanation. You can make up any scientific. Hold on.
Elaborate, and we launch these into space, right? With the European Space Agency, and our and parts of our group go to these places and participate in the launch.
This is still not what you're doing is you're making a claim.
A claim that can be demonstrated.
But cannot be.
Hold up 1 second, Ngaru. You made a claim too that you have not you've made many claims that you haven't substantiated. So don't attack us on our claims that we're backing up until you've backed up at least one of yours. At least one.
Okay. But the thing is though, I don't have a rocket.
Just one.
I don't have
You don't need a rocket. You don't. Hold up. Hang on a minute, Slick. You don't need a rocket to prove the firmament. You don't need a rocket to prove God exists. Who cares about the rocket?
I mean,
tell us you've made positive claims and you haven't substantiated them. Just one.
If I was given $1 billion space rocket, I would easily prove that we have a dome. That would be an issue.
Can I just say, Nadu, you are capable of participating in these if you're willing to go and build and gain the experiments to participate in these launches. There's nothing stopping you.
No.
But you probably have things in your life that are more that you prioritize.
No.
But the thing is that the possibility for you to verify it yourself is there. It's just that you're not willing to do the work in order to go and verify it for yourself. Because for me, it's taken me years to get educated and to get the experiments to participate in this, and it's not out of anybody else's hands. Especially if I have the capability of doing it, I do believe that other people do. Maybe financial means could be difficult, but if you really want to verify this for yourself, you could do it.
I mean, you need to understand my position here. I can't actually go out of my way and go to the moon. Okay, that is again. If I was to, the only way that would be possible is for me to go to seek help from people.
But it is possible. Is the point? The point is, it's possible. It's not impossible.
I'm saying I don't want to go to people with a bias. I want to go from my own bias standpoint. Okay, and disprove this. So,
but Nadu, my problem with what you're saying here is that you're sitting watching videos and reading things from books that go against, like, let's say, the mainstream scientific narrative, and yet you're displaying clear misunderstanding of science, and you're coming up with claims where people like myself, who spent years to get educated and get the experience to work in this field, where I can see clear flaws in your logic and reasoning behind this. Okay. And so for me, you're sitting here like, I can't do it. If you really wanted to verify this for yourself, you could do it. And secondly, when I'm fully immersed in this field, and I'm working with other scientists and have a good understanding of the models that we're developing, but there is nothing that you've presented here today other than you rejecting the scientific understanding that we have of moon landing, of the Big Bang, and of evolution. I mean, for me, it's quite a silly conversation.
Have you physically gone to the moon yourself?
Oh my God!
No, sorry.
Who cares?
No. I'm just saying, if you haven't physically gotten there yourself, right? You can't. You're essentially
okay. And unless you physically kiss God on the cheek, you can't say He exists.
Well, that's not reason.
Yes, it is. It's the same thing. It's just as ridiculous as your question.
Also, living under a firmament would be irrefutable.
So can I tell you something? If I was given certain parameters of a building, I could demonstrate how tall that building was without even physically measuring it. I could use just certain things of the shadow and take out certain parameters and calculate the height of that building, for example. There are tools and techniques we can use to draw conclusions about the universe. It doesn't require us to have physically gone there and come up with measurements that have been predicted. And
also, 1 second, sorry. Someone made a good point in the chat. Have you ever been to New Zealand, Ngadu?
No, I haven't. I've not been to New Zealand.
So how do you know it exists?
Because I could easily buy a plane ticket to New Zealand and prove that it exists.
Exactly. You could easily get your own rocket and go up as well.
No, you can't.
You can build a rocket.
You can't. If that was the case, the flat earthers that actually researched this their whole life, they would have done this. If that was the case, they would have.
Flat earthers have tried everything.
Again, if what you're saying, right, is so available for everyone, people that have spent their whole life researching this thing, they would have done it easily.
What my point is, until you've been to New Zealand, you can't say it exists.
No, but
you said it's easy. You can just jump on a plane. Well, how do you know?
Well, the thing is, though, I can actually prove that New Zealand exists by buying a ticket and going there.
But you haven't done it, so you can't say it exists.
But the thing is, though, I can buy a ticket right now and go tomorrow. And
you can buy a ticket to go up to space too, I think.
No, you can't.
You can become an astronaut. You can go through the training, become an astronaut. Well, it's going to be difficult and it will cost a lot, but this is possible for you.
No.
And now with the Artemis missions that are coming up, I don't know how old you are. Maybe you do have to meet certain physical requirements and stuff, and it is a difficult, difficult threshold to pass through.
Yes.
But the possibility is there for you, and so the same possibility for you to go and buy tickets in New Zealand and demonstrate that New Zealand exists. The possibility for you to go to the moon is there, but it is going to be a lot harder.
No.
You to be able to reach that.
You see, the problem with what you're saying is that there could be a bias that will corrupt what my study. That's the problem with not with me buying a plane ticket, no, but me buying a ticket to space from people who I believe they have a bias, and they would corrupt me and say,
well, you just believe that, right? If you went in there, yes, every human has some kind of fundamental bias, but this is the beauty of the scientific method, is that it takes on an approach to try and minimize human bias. And this is done through the peer review process and people going out and trying to invalidate other people's scientific work. And this is how we reduce and minimize human bias. You'll never get rid of that.
Robert,
but
Robbie,
what I'm trying to say to you here, yeah.
No, finish what you're saying first. Finish what you're saying. You were saying
yes.
what I was about to say to you, and then you went to say something to him.
Now I lost my train of thought.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, do you know how much? I mean, from memory, you can purchase a ticket and go up and right up past this firmament, right?
No, that's again. With what Robbie explained, you need certain requirements to not only just be.
Well, so do it. You need certain requirements to enter New Zealand as well.
But again, though, what my study, right? If I was to go to New Zealand and buy a plane ticket, that would be I could do that from an unbiased point and without corruption. If I was to go to buy a space ticket to space,
It's the same thing.
No, hold on. There could be a small set of individuals telling me, "Hey, we're gonna pay you $1 million, and you're gonna tell people that you went to space, and we're gonna make some."
No one's doing that.
How do you know? How do you know no one's doing that? Okay, hold on. How do you know no one's doing that? How do you know that?
Because no one's done it.
But how
It
do you know
costs
that?
you like $600K for one of those tickets anyways,
again,
too. So they're not going to give you $400K net to say that.
Again, how do you know that? How do you know that?
Because I do.
Okay, do you know
We
what's
don't go
going
off
on?
of first-person experiences to qualify something.
Okay, so you okay? What is happening? Okay.
I just feel like you're producing here a lot of excuses.
It's not even
if you really wanted to go and validate this for yourself, you could find a way. I genuinely think that, and it's the same for me. Like there were heaps of obstacles in my way for myself to try and build a career in astrophysics and particle physics, but nevertheless, I never let that stop me. And so for me, if what I'm hearing here is that there's going to be bias in that. For me, I just feel like you're making excuses for not wanting to actually go and verify it for yourself.
Hold on. Haley made a big claim right there. She said that's just not happening, right? Well, you do understand, right? How
Yes, I did, and I don't care. I've got common sense. Okay.
Okay, right. Let's say you're an individual living in China, and the government is suppressing you, and you're being told.
No, I'm sick of your hypotheticals. I'm sick of your hypotheticals.
What you're saying can be.
I'm saying I'm sick of your hypotheticals. You've substantiated zero of your claims, and you're just sounding ridiculous right now.
Well, but the thing is, though, I sound more reasonable than you both.
No, you said giants. Hold up. You've talked about giants. You've talked about a firmament made of an unbreakable material or substance. You've talked about the moon landing not happening. You've talked about people buying people off when they go to space. These are all ridiculous things that you've said.
I mean, it may sound ridiculous, right? But if you understand,
yes, it does.
But again, if you understand the detrimental effect that would happen if the world was to find out that there is a firmament, you'd understand also why that narrative is controlled. It's reasonable.
Well, until that day happens, what are you going to do? Just sit there and hypothesize about it?
It will never happen. We will never go to the moon because there is a firmament.
Yeah, you'll never see the firmament. Exactly. It'll never happen.
I mean, they've probably seen the firmament. That's what they're not telling you. So,
No. Well, why haven't you seen it?
Well, again, I've not been to space.
It's not in space. It's meant to be covering Earth.
Well, again, I don't have a rocket ship, so I can't prove this. Well, you can't.
You don't need a rocket ship. Hold up. Why would you need a rocket ship when we can literally, through a telescope, see Jupiter? So how can we not see the firmament?
But do you know how far the firmament is up in space?
Yeah, it's meant to. You said it's just covering a dome over the Earth. We can see well beyond that. So why can we not see the firmament?
How do we know how far this dome is?
Don't answer a question with a question. Answer mine. How
I'm
come
saying
we
you don't-
cannot
you don't-
see the? You don't say I'm just saying and then ask a question. I'm asking you to answer my question directly without pivoting or deflecting from it.
Okay.
If we can see Jupiter and the firmament's meant to be just covering Earth, then why can't we see the firmament?
Well, I'm saying the dome covers the whole observable universe.
No, no. See, you did. That's not what you said before. You said the dome around Earth. You said that's what you said.
Well, all these things, the Jupiter, the planets, all these things are inside the dome.
No. You said that. Hold up. Jupiter is not on Earth. You said the firmament is covering Earth. It's a dome over Earth, is what you said. Now you're changing it to it's covering the whole universe.
Well,
You have no proof of that. You have no proof of that.
Well,
I'd like you to
well-
back that up now, and I'm not moving on until I'm not letting you leave until you've proved that there is a dome over the universe.
well, okay. So
Because that's a
maybe
positive claim, and that's another positive claim, and you cannot back that up. So unless you're going to address that, I'm going to move on.
Okay, how could I prove this?
I don't know. It's a ridiculous claim that you cannot prove. So I'm asking, you've made the claim though, so you must have some proof. Why else would you believe it?
I could prove it.
How?
If I had a rocket ship, I would easily.
No, not if. No, you said that it already exists. You said that it does exist, which means you must have seen it.
I'm not saying I've seen it.
Oh, so you heard it through Chinese whispers.
I mean, again, I believe in the
Your
Bible,
grandmother, so hold up. So your grandmother's sister's neighbor's auntie-in-law's cousin told you. Is that what happened?
I believe in the Bible, so that's why I believe there's a firmament.
Yeah, but the Bible's incorrect. The Bible said the female sex came from a man's rib.
Well, again, you're not understanding. Well, you can't.
No, hang on. I'm not.
No,
Wait,
that's
we're
not-
getting off track. I need you to prove your positive claim about the firmament being over the universe. We're not moving past
Hold on,
this.
How do you just associate the female coming from?
Don't. Okay, I'm going to move on. You've made absolute no sense. You're talking gibberish right now, and
No.
everything you're saying is absolutely false. And I've asked you to substantiate one of your claims. You haven't substantiated it. You've made at least 5 or 6 positive claims so far, and not one of them's been substantiated.
You're running right now. That what you're doing right now is.
I'm not running. You're running from answering the questions.
I just called you out on something you just said, so
No, I called you out on 6 things you've said, and you haven't answered them.
I've answered many of your questions.
No, you haven't.
I have, but everyone's witnessed.
What
me
is the
answer.
firmament made of?
Again, I don't know the material.
So why do you don't know that then? So stop lying to people and saying there's a firmament when you don't even know. You're just making it up in your head.
If no one studied,
It's because some drunk man wrote a book and a Bible.
I mean, that is okay. Why would you say the same thing about Islam? Would you say the same thing about Islam? A drunk man wrote the Quran.
Yup. I'd say the same thing about Greek mythology as well.
Well, that's disrespectful. What now?
I don't care.
Okay, so if I say trans people are deluded, or then
Oh, I can back that up though. That's the problem. You can't back up what the firmament's made of.
I mean, it's pretty evident that male thinking that their female is delusion. I mean, that's
Oh, see, here comes the deflection. Here comes the pivot. He can't answer any of his claims.
a good conversation. Anyways, thank you for
Not even a single claim. 6 claims you've made. First, you were talking about giants as well. Let's not forget this ridiculous claim of giants. The firmament. Hello.
I mean,
Something. Back up something.
Again, these things would.
Anything.
These things, if we was to find out the truth, it would be a detrimental effect on everyone. That's why they're not revealing.
There, exactly. You just said it yourself. You just said if we were to find out the truth, which means you don't know the truth.
No, I know the truth.
You just
I'm
said it
saying-
then.
I'm
You
talking
said
about-
we.
I'm talking-
You said
I'm
if
talking
we
about
were to
majority.
find out the truth,
The
that we
majority.
includes yourself.
No,
We
I'm talking
includes
about the majority.
yourself. Yes,
I'm
it
talking about the
does.
I'm talking about the majority.
I don't care about the majority. I'm talking about you.
I'm talking about.
I know you're laughing because you don't know how to answer these questions. You're being absolutely debunked right now, and you don't know what to do.
I'm laughing because.
Answer the claims. Fix the claims. Back them up.
Bro, I said.
Just
we-
one of them. I will be satisfied. I will be satisfied if you can substantiate one.
Okay, you've never been to the moon.
That's not that's not what. No. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about your positive claims.
Okay, which one?
Anyone, back up just one of them. I just want one of them backed up, and I'll be satisfied.
Okay, so in regards to giants, what is it? Homo sapiens just being younger giants. That's disprove what I just said there. That Homo sapiens are not just younger giants.
No. We're not here to disprove you. You're here to prove yourself. You made the positive claim. You have to prove it. Okay. Prove it.
I'll prove it. I'll prove it. Humans and Homo sapiens have totally different bone structure and a whole different structure compared to
humans and what?
Humans and Homo sapiens.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I have to clip that. Humans and Homo sapiens. Yeah. Wow, Nini. Wow. That's a line from The Real Housewives, in case.
So Haley, you don't understand, they're the same. So you don't understand that humans and Homo sapiens are the same thing.
No, you said humans and Homo sapiens.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
You're talking like they're two separate things.
Okay.
At least he caught on to it.
Okay, so what? Okay, so
I cannot.
Haley, what did humans evolve from? What was the evolution?
You mean Homo sapiens? You mean Homo sapiens, or do you mean humans?
Let's say Homo sapiens.
What I observe here is when we try to pin him on trying to demonstrate his claims, he keeps pivoting back to try and get us to justify evolution or the Big Bang or whatever. And for me, we're just sitting here wanting to get an explanation from you and the justification for your belief in these claims that you're making, and you're not demonstrating that. You keep pivoting and pushing it off and try to turn it on us.
Again,
okay, here's an example. Here's something for you, Ngadu. How about you tell us about prove the existence, prove that giants, or whatever your claim was, your positive claim that giants, humans were just small giants or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Can you prove that to me right now without asking us a question?
Yep.
Go for it.
Neanderthals and humans look totally different, and have a totally different bodily structure. There we go. I'm saying that Neanderthals.
Hold on, I'm talking about giants.
Yeah, I'm saying that Neanderthals are just younger giants, and we've associated.
No. Your claim was humans were younger giants.
No. I didn't.
Yes, it was. That was your positive claim earlier on in the conversation.
I said that giants.
This is the first time Neanderthals been brought up.
I'm saying that I told you that the evolutionary path of humans, us evolved from Neanderthals.
And again, right? I want you to prove that. You say, I could just say Harry Potter's real, and I have his wand. And I can prove it. I can prove that Harry Potter's real. I have his wand.
No, I'm saying, okay, so listen, if you listen closer, I'm saying Neanderthals, right? And humans.
Oh, wait, hang on. Paleo's here to school you on Neanderthals. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah,
even though he doesn't have to, because you still haven't substantiated your claim.
I can substantiate my claim. I can definitely do it.
You haven't. I've asked you 4 times now.
Okay, I'm doing it now. There we go. I'm doing it now.
All right, Slick. Do it without asking us a question. Prove it. Not say it. Prove it.
Okay.
I want to see your evidence. I want to see your studies. I want to see your photos, your videos, whatever you might have. Pull up something.
Yeah, me too.
Show us some proof.
Okay. So, Neanderthals and humans, would you agree we have totally different structure, body structure? Would you agree?
Neanderthals are humans. Like, do you mean Homo sapiens?
Paleo, would you say there is a difference in Neanderthals and humans today, the modern human?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, they're 2 different species. Yeah.
Okay, so if I associate Neanderthals by me saying they are just giants, younger giants,
Well, this makes no sense because Neanderthals were not giant whatsoever. They were shorter than modern day humans.
But how can you disprove what I'm saying though?
That's what I said earlier. I already said that. Hold up, Naru. I'm not here to talk to you about disproving you. You told me. You said like 20 seconds ago. You go, yeah, I got you. I'm gonna prove it. You're just asking questions. You're not proving shit.
I've literally proved it. Neanderthals.
How?
Not proved it.
There is a difference in Neanderthals and human beings. Okay.
So that's you. No, that's not the claim you made. You claimed that humans were just small giants.
No, I never said that.
Yes, you did.
You did.
No,
You just
again,
claimed it right
No,
now.
no. Because I'm making a different.
Bro, if you think you can gaslight us, it doesn't work because we're smarter than you. We're onto it. You see, we're not dumb.
I
Yeah, make a coherent point.
Hold on. I said right when I joined. I said that giants were just younger Neanderthals. That's what I said.
Yeah, but you're wrong. How do you
Nope.
prove that?
No. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. About 40 minutes ago, right? When you mentioned that claim, you were talking about humans. You didn't mention anything about Neanderthal until about 5 minutes ago.
I was literally talking about the evolutionary path and that these were not human beings. I literally said those were giants.
Has anyone else noticed how he's pivoted from absolutely every single... Has anyone noticed how he started talking about... First, he started talking about the Bible, which was great. Then he started talking about evolution and adaptational changes. And then he started talking about giants. And then he started talking about a firmament. And then he started talking about the firmament was made of some unbreakable substance. Then he started talking about the moon landing was fake. And then he started talking about NASA and rockets. And see how he's pivoted this whole conversation?
No, wait, hold on. Haley,
Yep, that's all he does.
Yeah, the last question you asked me, I just answered it. You said I was just making, and I gave you a great answer right there.
I asked you to prove it, not answer it.
Yes, and I proved it again. I proved it. I literally told you there was.
Hang on, I'm gonna do a quick poll to see if anyone believes that he proved that giants are. 1 second. Carry on talking while I make this embarrassing poll.
I literally so.
Yeah, what you're doing, buddy. What you're doing, buddy, is that we're asking you to demonstrate or show us some form of evidence, or even some kind of scientific
smiley
research.
face.
But what you're doing,
smiley face is hold up. Smiley face means he did not prove it. Sad face means he absolutely debunked us on giants. This is specifically about giants. Smiley face says he did not prove anything. Carry on talking.
Okay.
Nadia, I just want to finish what I'm saying. What you're doing is you keep pivoting off and trying to find holes everywhere else other than actually demonstrating what your claim is. Not once have you come here and demonstrated the claim, provided us with evidence, some kind of fossil or some kind of scientific research. All you've done is ask us questions.
So I will demonstrate.
Look at the poll. Look at the numbers here.
Eight people literally think that you. 8 people think that you debunked us on giants existing and being whatever you bloody said.
Also, Nardo.
But you haven't allowed me to demonstrate.
We've already had a conversation.
Are you gonna allow me to demonstrate and then disprove what I'm saying?
You have not demonstrated it. What?
I'm going to demonstrate. You haven't given me a chance to demonstrate.
Have you got an experiment?
On Maria's stream,
Paleo.
I'm going to
Paleo, what's that background noise? Oh, that's better.
Yes, I would.
I'm going to
demonstrate. Okay. Hold up. By demonstrate, do you mean say something, or demonstrate, do you mean you have an experiment or a study?
I have studies, and not only...
Perfect. Let's have a look at them.
Okay, so... If you
Fantastic.
So if you look into the study of Neanderthals, you would see that...
Which one?
What do you mean, which one? All forms of Neanderthal.
No. I asked you if you had a study. You said, yes, I have a study. Which study?
I mean, there's multiple studies on Neanderthal.
I know there is. I'm asking you which one.
Everyone that you've seen.
No. I'm asking you because every study I've seen just shows nothing. Shows nothing that giants or nothing about giants.
I'm not saying there's a study.
Thanks, Willow. I appreciate it.
I'm not saying
that's what we're talking about. Okay, I'm moving on. There's plenty of people wanting to get in here, and you are just sitting here, just clout chasing at this point, I think. Oh my god.
Yeah,
he's literally... Yeah. He's just a lost cause. That person has the brain cells of a wet mop. For
Did love
goodness
how you
sake.
were putting it near the end.
Hey?
I was just saying that I liked it how you started just pinning him pretty hard at the end.
Oh, I
And
was
it's-
getting sick of it. Everyone tap the screen. Let's get up to 50k likes, please. And I've got my little elf hat gifts. The target is up there for the night, for the live stream, and I am looking for 9 more subscribers tonight. So, and follow the panel here too, please. They're amazing. They're fantastic. And they just had to put up with that human being. So please reward them somehow. I think they deserve it. Anyway, I'm going to bring up another guest. Oh my gosh, I spent too long on that person, I gotta say. I don't know who to pick.
I feel like we were going for Christian conspiracist blackout bingo with everything just going right down.
Yeah.
Thank you for the gift.
Thanks for all the gifts.
Someone said I'm rude but funny. I'll take it. Okay, this person's not loading in. That's fine. Look, I'm not on here to make friends a lot of the time. I'm here because I have topics I want to talk about. And, I mean, if people can come up and be cordial, fantastic. Thank you for the elf hat. Wait, let me get on screen so it pops on my head. Oh, I missed it. Sorry. Thank you for the elf hat. Hold up. I if I'm off screen, it's usually because I'm like vaping or something. Let's go with you. Hello, Snarky. God is a myth that can't be proven. Do you disagree?
God is a myth that can't be proven?
Correct.
Yeah, it can't be proven through empirical evidence. I agree.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to move on to some opposition, but thank you so much for coming up.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I am looking for people that disagree with this topic. I know we were talking about a lot of crazy topics that were just off topic completely, but I'd like to get back on topic. So I'm trying to find people that have like some sort of Christian symbol in their name. I'll be like, oh, but hello, Z. Hi.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Yes. How old are you? Thanks. You sound young.
Oh no, I'm 25.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great. Thoughts on the topic?
Yeah,
Thanks.
I don't think God is a myth. I think like when I look at myself and I see how carefully I've been designed and the fact that we all have unique fingerprints and unique things about us, I think that I was carefully designed and carefully planned and put on this earth in that manner. So yeah, I don't think God is a myth at all. And just because you can't see something, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You know, like a lot of people
Thank you for the gift.
compare it to like oxygen, for example. Like you breathe every day knowing that there's oxygen, but you can't see it. So, you know, you don't have to see something to believe that it's there.
I mean, I'm pretty sure, oxygen. Robbie, you might be able to.
Yeah, so we can.
I think it's got. Doesn't everything have a color or something? Or like every gas.
Using like spectral analysis to look at like specific emission lines or absorption lines associated with certain elements. So we see physical influence of these elements or things like oxygen in our day-to-day lives for experiments. So we can actually demonstrate this, and there's a difference between intelligent design and the analogy that you're using with with oxygen, because oxygen can be demonstrated, whereas the existence of an intelligent design that designed all of the universe and who we are, this is something that I would have a disagreement with you that God, the only reasonable answer for this is to be God, because there's no demonstration of there being an intelligent designer.
The demonstration for me is like, you know, the beauty in archaeology, the beauty in the things in the earth. So that's enough demonstration for me. And when I look at myself,
but do you
all of
see
these
the problem
things,
there, Z? The problem there is that we have a naturalistic explanation for how humans evolved over time, and we have a scientific understanding of the universe, planet formation, star formation, and how humans can actually arise. Now, there are still that's not fully understood in certain areas. So, like, for example, the origins of the universe or abiogenesis. But there is a lot of scientific research to try and answer those questions. But
but it is
related,
still a theory, though. It's not proven. Like the Big Bang and all of that, that's not proven. No, I'm not saying that I'm against the Big Bang. Like, even if the explanation was the Big Bang, I do think that it would have been initiated by a higher power. So I don't disagree with the science behind it. It's just that we're too intricate to be an accident, and also like.
Do you know what? See, I actually once thought the same thing. I actually thought to myself at one point, there's no way that our eyes and our brain was just an accident, right? But then I figured out and learned what evolution was and how the adaptational and mutational changes happen and how we became what we are, what we know as humans today. And yeah, it makes sense to me. So,
if you're talking about evolution and stuff, one thing that that hasn't really made sense to me is that why don't we have any like sort of animals that are like evolving or halfway or in stages? Why do we have like
we do see it?
Monkeys, we have humans, but we don't have humans that are so close to animals in that sense.
What do you mean? We are animals.
Yeah, we are.
Humans
I mean,
are animals, yeah.
As in, like, you.
Oh, you're muted. Oh, there we go.
We're not halfway. Halfway, like.
Oh, you're muted.
Transforming. We're not halfway.
Sorry, I had to mute you. You've got a bad background echo. I'm assuming you must have got a phone call. So what you do now is just exit the app, to go to your home screen without like completely leaving the app. Just go to the home screen and come back in. It should work. Just while we're waiting, everyone double tap that screen. Let's try and get up to 70k likes. Thanks. Really promote this live. Z, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, that's much better. Perfect.
Yeah, like we don't have humans that are evolving halfway. We don't have every stage like with it in front of us for us to say who's that.
But the thing is, even if we were to see, Homo sapiens evolve into some other species, we're not going to see that for thousands of years, if at all.
Surely we should see one stuck in that stage, or surely we should have a few examples of different stages.
Well, Homo sapiens were the superior. I think Homo sapiens and Neanderthals were existing at the same time, and then we just hunted them out of existence. I think that's how it happened. So Homo sapiens were the superior. Hey?
Do we have proof of that? I mean, if we go back to the topic, is God is a myth that can't be proven?
Oh, hang on. Paleo's saying I'm incorrect, so if he can correct me, that would be fantastic. It's something like that, though. It's not. Maybe I'm not saying it right.
Maybe we can come up and touch on the how there's like that's how species works as it evolves. There's no like one evolves at a time, and you see this general train going up. Oh, never mind. He's up here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was about. I think that's. Yeah, no, you're fine, Paleo. We can hear you and everything. We were talking about the Neanderthal. Great. So we were talking about. I mean, you heard us. Go for it.
Yeah, I basically heard everything while I was trying to get my stuff together for going down on the floor. But yeah, we didn't hunt Neanderthals to extinction. Now, we don't know why Neanderthals went extinct. It's likely due to a combination of climate change with the reduction of their prey in Europe and the Middle East. Likely we bred them into us because we do have some evidence of humans and Neanderthals mating and even breeding. We even have hybrids of that in the fossil record. So why Neanderthals went extinct, we just do not know. But
So they could have been hunted out then.
Well,
If you don't know.
probably imagine. Well, I would probably imagine that sometimes there would have been conflict between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens. Same way there's conflict between lions and leopards. But the thing here is that we're not looking for so someone seems to have this misconception that we should be finding half things everywhere. But no, that's not how evolution works. Everything is a transitional species. Everything, right? Evolution does not stop. It only stops once the species dies out.
So if we go back to the topic, is God, is it a myth, and the fact that it can't be proven, I just wanted to say, the Big Bang and all of that, what is your, if you don't mind answering, what is your explanation for all of that happening? Was it just an accident and then humans and species appeared from that? Because I think I'm not an accident. I think I was carefully planned and designed.
Do you want to take that, Haley, or should I?
I thought Paleo was, sorry. Paleo's gone. Repeat the question, sorry. I was off screen waiting for Paleo to talk, sorry.
So you're saying that God's a myth and it can't be proven. And my question was, so when it comes to the Big Bang and everything we've been discussing so far, that can't be an accident. So that's what I'm saying. What was the cause of everything, and what was the cause of your existence if it was an accident? It doesn't make sense. There has to be someone that switched.
Well, it's not an accident, right?
On.
It's not. Again, it's not an accident. This is there's many changes that have happened to the hominid species over time. All of them, including our species.
If it wasn't an accident, then someone must have turned the switch on. Someone must have done something.
No, it wasn't. It's not an accident, but it's called. We adapted. The adaptational changes kicked in, and our bodies adapted, and to the environments.
I was relating it more to the Big Bang and the start of it all.
So,
that's a Robbie question.
With regards to the Big Bang, scientists don't make a claim about T equals 0 or if universes are created or where they come from. So the first thing you need to understand about the Big Bang is all it states is that the universe was in an initial state and then it started to expand. And this initial state was hot and dense. And so the evidence to support this is there. So, for example, the cosmic microwave background, the cosmological redshift that you can observe, and the element abundances within this cosmic microwave background were predicted precisely.
Sorry, did you say dense compound?
No, with element.
Is that where did it start from? It must have started from someone putting it together, someone creating these substances. As humans, we're unable to create anything from thin air.
Did you hear what I said at the start? We don't know, and this is the honest answer that any one of us can say. We can try to argue different ideas about the origins of the universe, but there's no evidence to support, because all of the models and all of the understanding that we have about the early universe is incoherent, especially when you start to approach singularities, where things just become nonsensical. So this is why it's such a difficult question to answer, because when people talk about T equals 0, what we're saying is that there is no time or space that existed before this. And so people try to insert God there as a first causal mechanism for the universe, but how can a God exist when there is no space and time? And this is something that philosophers produce lots of different ideas, and people argue about this, but in reality, we have no understanding of this epoch of the universe. And so people are just throwing out ideas and trying to guess. And when you say that God must be, it's not a must be, it's a speculative claim that can't be justified through empirical evidence.
So you said that the argument here is for universe causation. So it was created from something. You said that you just made the claim that there wasn't time and all of that existed after. But
no, I didn't make a claim. I said that we don't know. And I would also say that you don't know. You are just making a claim that God is the answer. And I'm just saying that people have provided ideas that aren't justified. They still sit in the realm of speculation.
what I do know is that even if we are unsure whether time existed then or not, what I do know is that there must have been a higher being to initiate all of this, and there must, whether you call it.
Well, I don't know if you can say must have. When you say must have, you're making the claim that there is.
I know, that's exactly what my point is. So whether we call it God, whether I personally call it God or someone else calls it something else, there must have been a higher being or an
But my question to you, Z, is how have you ruled out all of the other possibilities of there being a cyclic universe, for example, an expanding, contracting universe, or the conformal cyclic cosmology that Penrose provided, or the multiverse? These are all different ideas that have been presented, some that have scientific backing in the building blocks. So you have to rule all of these out and demonstrate that it must have been God. And this is something you can't do because we don't have the technology to do that. Well, if you want to be certain about the claim that you're making, if you want to be certain about the claim that you're making, you have to demonstrate it and rule out all of the others to ensure that it must have been God. This is a claim that can't be justified.
If it's scientific, then it could have been initiated, like I said, by a higher being or a different being.
Yeah, and like I said, it could have been initiated by a multiverse or a cyclic universe.
Yeah, it could have.
Wait 1 second. One second. That's the thing. You said you just changed what you said then, and I think that was smart. You said it could have been a higher being, but before you were saying it must have been a higher being, and they're two different words and they changed the sentence completely.
I believe in God, so that's why I personally believe in God in more than just the universe and stuff. So that's probably why I said it like that. But my point still stands that it must have, for me personally, could have for other people, that it was initiated by a higher being, whether you call it God or not. Because
this is why we reject your claim, right? Because you can't demonstrate this. This is the whole point of what we're saying. What we can demonstrate is the Big Bang model with empirical evidence, and this can be demonstrated. Whereas anything prior to our understanding of the universe and the observable universe is all speculation, even the scientific hypotheses that have been presented. So until one can actually demonstrate it empirically, I have no reason to think that your explanation is more reasonable than any of the other explanations that have been provided. And in fact, I would argue that naturalism makes less assumptions to the claims that you're making.
To me personally, when I see how intricate the human body is, when I see like geography and astrology and all of these things, like that for me is too complex to be an accident or to be something that wasn't a higher being, and that's my argument. If, for example, a lot of people like to use the the watch design point, where the watch is, it has cobbles in it and, they clog together. That is an intricate design. That can't be an accident. If anything's out of place, the watch won't work. So as a human being, I'm way more complicated than that. I'm way more complex and intricate than that. We have so many systems, like our skeletal system, our digestive system. I don't even need to name them all, but we're too complex for it to have not been a designer. And that's my point. My point is the design argument.
Yeah.
Right. But if there was a designer that created such an impeccable human, then why do we have faults?
Yeah, we have faults. And again, that's because I'm religious in my religion. So I've got an explanation for that. But we have faults because in my religion, every human is tested differently. We all have different tests. And that's the reason why that goes back to my religion again and the reason why we even
No. What I'm saying, not even just that. For example, we have the appendix, which we don't even need. Like
Well,
we don't
again,
need the appendix. It's just sitting in there, right?
Can you agree that science hasn't figured it all out? Can we agree that?
I'm sure science will never, like, science just will keep evolving. Science will just keep developing, right? But your faith stays the same. And when I say your faith, I mean the stories of the Bible, the belief, the God. That's one book, right? One big novel. It doesn't change.
I'm not Christian, but you asked about the appendix, and my point is, I'm not a medical person, like I haven't studied that, but my point is, if they think there is no use to it now, there might be, some sort of benefit or some sort of something that it does, It might have been used for something in the past for different foods that we used to eat. Like,
or it may have been needed in different species that we, evolved from.
So
If that's what you believe. But yeah, again, just because we have something that we think is not useful, that doesn't mean anything to this.
So the argument I'm hearing you present here, Lee, is that we are perfectly designed. But
I wouldn't say perfectly. I just said we are designed, with a level of complexity.
One of the things that we face is that we are fighting the increase of entropy every day with our systems, right? So for us, we have to source energy from the environment, and we are basically decaying each day, so to speak. And so for us, I wouldn't call this a perfect design. I can imagine something that would be a lot more perfect for us to actually exist in this environment, but we're subject to all of these physical processes in the universe, which is causing us to decay day by day as we're getting older, and our bodies have evolved over time to try and push through this, I guess, maybe decay is a terrible word to use here, but basically the dissipation of the entropy within our systems. I don't know how to say that simply.
But also...
Go ahead, Haley.
I was going to say, like, all of that aside, like, how long ago did Adam and Eve exist? 6,000 years?
Much longer than that, I'm sure of it.
You're sure? How long?
Yeah, way more than 6,000 years. We've got human history way before 6,000.
Exactly, but I'm saying the Bible's not dated that far back. The Bible isn't dated back millions of years.
When it comes to, if you're talking about...
We've got hominid species fossils that are dated 3.2 million years.
If you're talking about the Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, those religions believe that throughout time, God sent messengers and prophets. So throughout time, there's been, in different scriptures, like Bible, Judaism, because they're from different time periods, they'll have different history, updated history. But for example, I believe personally, there was around 120,000 different messengers and prophets sent to the human race over time. So it weren't just these prophets or these religions that have come, or these scriptures that have come from God. So God's actually guided us.
But the thing is, they didn't come...
And tried to guide us.
But the thing is, they didn't come from God. They came from humans, these stories.
Oh, if you're talking about religious stuff,
yeah.
And the Abrahamic faith is specifically, they believe that, angels, revealed the message down to these humans who were selected to be prophets or messengers. So that was the mode of transport of information. That's how the revelation was brought down.
Oh.
And even if you want to go against that and stuff, that's something I believe in as well. But even if you want to go against that and stuff, we know the existence of black magic. We know the existence of, I know it's going a bit dark, but
I don't know if I believe in that either.
So I believe these things are evil and these things actually exist. So the way that these people or these mediums speak to spirits and stuff, the way they do that is by communicating with the other realm,
Justine.
the stuff. So these things exist and there's proof of it.
Hey Mario, Justine, you wanted to. You're unmuted, so I figured you wanted to say something.
Yep. No, I was just waiting. I was going to talk about Z with how the scripture was revealed and how God revealed his word to the Abrahamic people with angels. And I think you're leaving a key component out of there too, that God actually revealed himself to Moses a couple of times as well. So it just wasn't just angels, but I was letting you
I
expound a
believe the
little more.
Moses story as well, but except that I believe the version where God revealed his shadow. So even seeing God is too much for us to handle as in this human state. And only a select privilege in the hereafter or after the day of judgment will actually have, will be able to see God. But so it's pretty much similar. So he has revealed himself. You are correct. No. And like the story of Moses, how the mountain, how he fell down the mountain and the whole mountain, how there was an earthquake. Sorry?
I said, yep, up on Mount Sinai, technically, and when he came down to, the glory of God was like shining off him or something.
Correct, yeah, and that's what caused like an earthquake or extreme rumbling. So
Do you
we're
believe?
unable to take God in this state? But yeah.
Do you believe everything that? Do you believe the Bible?
Yeah, I do, but not in the current state. So I can't pick up a Bible now and read it and say that's the word of God. I believe that it has been changed quite a lot, so it's not it's not as accurate in terms of it being the word of God. I don't want to offend anyone, but as you already can tell, I highly respect Judaism and Christianity and Islam highly. So that's not where my point is coming from. But yeah, it's just not an accurate version of the scripture for me to follow in today's day. And I also believe that Jesus, he was sent to a specific group of people and not all of mankind. And the different prophets and messengers that I spoke about, the 120,000 that have come throughout time, they all came for specific groups of people, whereby, as I believe, the last prophet was revealed for all people.
Right.
That's what I...
All right. Okay. Well, it doesn't sound, I've got to be honest, it doesn't sound like you have any proof of God's existence, just sort of a faith-based argument, which I guess a lot of people are going to come up and have. There are people that... I know the proof, I don't know if the proof is you, because we can explain that using science. So, we're kind of at a loss here. But...
thanks for adding me on. I'm happy to leave pretty much my point. But thanks you so much, everyone.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming up, Z. Thanks for being respectful.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, at least she was respectful. That's great. No disrespect coming from her. Great conversations can happen when people are like that. Hey, Atlantic. Right, guys, I'm looking for 6 more of the Alf hats and 9 subscribers. So, hola! and if you can't, that's fine, but hit the follow button. It doesn't cost you anything. And follow the panel too. Please, that'd be great. We're almost at 70k likes as well. That was the target I'd set. Someone's Stop saying you're begging to let me up. I've seen your comments and you are not opposition. I know you wanted to talk to that last guest. A lot of you have asked to talk to the last guest that was up, but I don't want anyone coming up if they're just going to correct what the last guest said. She's gone. She's out of the box. I just am looking for opposition to come up and discuss this topic, kind of like the last guest did. I do not want people coming up here that agree at the moment. I think 2's enough for this topic. So yeah. I've got to start down the bottom because these people have been waiting a long time. And this person is probably not here anymore. They probably waited too long. Let's try you.
Hi,
Hey, how old are you?
I'm 29, but I just want to say that I'm an atheist who studied religious theology. I'm not exactly opposition. I just wanted to say something that I think you'd like, real quick, and then I'll go.
Yeah.
I was in a Christian Live, and I was blocked by them because I knew more about their religion than they did, and I'm not even Christian.
Oh gosh.
happens a
I
lot.
just thought you'd find that funny.
Yeah, that's funny. Well,
I'm not even
thanks for
Christian.
coming up.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
neither.
Have a nice night.
See you later. Same to you.
Yeah, it's really ironic that a
Alrighty.
lot of atheists will actually tell Christians about their own religion too, and usually they're almost always right. So
I know. All right. Is this? Oh, Carlos the God. Hi. How are you?
Oh, sorry, my hand got your button. Oh, sorry.
Hi, Carlos.
Sorry about that, my hand got your button.
Pardon?
Yeah, damn, I don't even know where to come now.
Okay, I want to know. I can't understand. What did you say? Sorry.
Oh, no, I said my hand catch the button. Didn't realize my hand catch the button. You could take me down.
Oh,
Sorry about
right.
that.
Okay, got. Okay, no worries.
Yeah, sorry about
Thank
that.
you. That's okay. Okay. We will find... Okay, this person's been waiting a while as well. Let's see if they're here. Hello. Hi. How old are you?
Hi, I'm 24.
Great. Thoughts on the topic, thanks.
I don't believe that God is a myth, and I do believe that he can be proven. It may not necessarily be empirical evidence, but I do believe that testimonial evidence it stands as high as empirical evidence, considering that God is spirit and not a physical being. So we wouldn't be able to offer evidence in regards to what he looks like or being able to touch him or communicating with him as you would a human.
Okay, right, but the thing is that when God allegedly sent Jesus down in his place, right? So Jesus Christ is God according to Christians. Are you Christian?
To make it easy, yeah, I would say so. I hate to use the labels. I just feel like I have my relationship with God, but I do follow the doctrine to some extent. So, yeah, I guess I'll just say I'm Christian.
Okay. So if Jesus is God, then there should be evidence that Jesus was God, not just, some testimony. How long was he around for? 30-something years, wasn't he?
I guess the evidence...
somewhere around that.
Sorry, go on. What were
Yeah.
you saying?
I was going to say, he was around for like 30-something years, and there's nothing. No, the only thing we can... I don't even know if we can prove that, we probably can prove that someone named Jesus existed, right? I probably won't deny that. There was probably someone named Jesus that existed. Was he an all-powerful, almighty human God that came down in human form? No, there's no proof of that. There's nothing. What is there? What is there that he what proof is there that he existed other than testimonies? The Shroud of Turin?
So there would only really be testimonial evidence as to the existence of Jesus just because it was so long ago, so we wouldn't be able to come up with like a birth certificate, for example. However, with regards to
Sure.
there would be the testimonial evidence, which a lot of people do agree, and there is evidence with regards to the resurrection of Jesus Christ, and that in itself would suggest to him being...
but someone could say that they resurrected, but we've seen humans do that. Did you see there was a story not long ago of someone in South America who woke up in her coffin in her wake?
Yeah, but that's... So waking up from a sorry, did you say coffin?
Yeah, she was at her funeral. She was at her funeral. She was in her coffin at the funeral with the casket open, and she started moving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's happened. It has happened. So would that be a resurrection? When I say that this resurrection of Jesus Christ happened, like they called it a resurrection, but is that the right terminology? Maybe he just passed out and was in a coma for a couple of days and woke up.
Listen, I would define it as a resurrection as such, because it's the idea that Jesus actually died and resurrected from the dead, and he was crucified. So rather than being in a coma or like a non-conscious state, it's that he died and he came back, and when he returned, he still had his wounds on him to show that he'd resurrected. So
sure, if you get nailed to something, you're going to have wounds, you're going to have scars, sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've got scars from a boob job.
Yeah, of course, but I think that it's important that the scars were there to show that this is the same person who was crucified on the cross and has resurrected.
But I mean, so like I said, people back in those days, pardon my ignorance here, but I don't know if they were as intelligent as we are today. I don't know if their way of thinking was the same. I don't think their way of thinking was the same as us. I don't think that they understood things the way we understand things. They didn't know about space. They didn't know about half the things we know today. So could they have just imagined it or was it exaggerated? Was it? Well, there's no way to verify that these stories aren't exaggerated stories.
Yeah, so then again, it comes down to the fact that if the Bible were just a book of one person's account of events, then I would definitely agree with you in that stance. But this is multiple sources from eyewitness events who had seen the resurrection. And with regards to whether people back in those days were less intelligent than ourselves, obviously, as you know, that is an opinion and we can't really verify that. But just based off of the sheer fact of the archaeology that they were the things that they were able to do.
When I say intelligence, sorry to interrupt, but when I say intelligence, I'm talking about the lack of knowledge that we have now. They didn't have nearly half the amount of knowledge we have now.
Yeah,
I just to sort of back up what Haley's saying there, I would say that we're more knowledgeable now. I do think people were intelligent back then. But I guess one thing I want to tackle, like, testimony is a weak form of evidence in any kind of scientific field. I know that they use it in the court of law, but that's not held to the same scrutiny for the evidence that's required in the scientific field. So when you're saying people's testimony and multiple eyewitnesses, for me, back then with the recording mechanisms of events, relying on humans and perception of this, I think is unreliable. And so I would tackle it in that sense. And if I'm not wrong here, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't the books in the Bible written like generations later?
Generations later?
Yes, they were.
Sorry, go on.
They weren't written at that time. Like, there wasn't someone transcribing as Jesus was talking, right? There was somebody that would, like, later. So, for example, too, like, Luke does interviews with people, and that's how he pretty much wrote his book, too. And that's also why he kind of, like, rhymes with the Synoptic Gospels a little bit as well. Haley's right, too. People back then were not nearly as intelligent as they are now, too, because of standardized education. Like, the vast majority of people couldn't write, and they probably had a very simple understanding with how the world worked. So,
by the way, I want to quickly interrupt and say I've put the subscriber-only chat on for the last half an hour. So the last half an hour I'm putting the subscriber-only chat on. If you want to discuss and jump in here and get involved, then hit the subscribe button. It also extends the length of time that I will be live.
Can I just say, I do think people were quite intelligent back then, especially when you look at the pre-Socratic philosophers. But they were just building like their worldview based on the evidence that was provided for them at the time. Yeah. And I think as technology advanced, I think our knowledge expanded, and then a lot more people can engage with that, which makes it easier for things to evolve technologically. But I do think that people back then were intelligent, just not as knowledgeable as
I didn't say they weren't intelligent. I said that they were less intelligent than us.
Yeah, absolutely.
It depends too.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Because some of those philosophers that you're talking about too had very strange opinions with how, like, sins transferred and stuff like that too. Because Augustine didn't believe that, or believed that.
Thanks for the
sin
subscription.
originally came from the mother and was transferred down too. So while these people were intelligent, they had some like way far left-sided, like out of left field views that like went along with their stuff too. The only thing that survived through the process of time too was the stuff that they actually got right about, or the stuff that enough people were.
But I mean, ultimately, I say that because this is testimonial accounts on supernatural events. This isn't testimonial accounts on how they think that the world worked, or whether the Earth is at the center of the universe or whatnot. It's nothing to do with that. It's with regards to if they saw a man who died and resurrected from that death, and that's what we're going off of. And I understand that. As we are now, because we've evolved and we do have access to a lot more knowledge, that testimonial evidence isn't seen as that credible as it was back then, but that's all they could really rely on. And I mean, there is evidence now that is testimonial that also suggests about the theory of afterlife and children who had experienced and had memories of specific details.
Oh yeah, that's a whole different topic. Talking about the afterlife and the But
I do believe that it does tie into whether God is a myth, because essentially in the question it doesn't specify which God we're talking about. So if we're just going off of the notion that a God in general does exist, then if we're going into Hinduism and I believe Judaism, they believe in reincarnation. So if there is evidence which suggests the evidence that says that was it 2,500 children that they had previous memories of previous lives in World War II that they hadn't been exposed to, and they gave specific details of such that would allude to the notion that there is the afterlife, and obviously because you had said earlier in this live that you believe that after we die we just cease to exist. So then how would that come about?
Well, I don't believe in any gods. And my thing is too, I think if I believe in one, I have to believe in them all, because they're all faith-based.
Yeah.
It's a little circumstantial too. So you could use the same criteria and evidence for testimonial evidence as well, for saying like ghosts exist or something as well.
Mm-hmm. And you could only, and I say it because you say that you wanted to see like a physical manifestation of what God looks like, or that there's proof of a God. But again, because God is spirit, then it would also, for you to believe in God, it means that you also believe that there's a spiritual realm. And because I believe that other spirits and demons exist, then I'd say that the physical manifestation of that proof would be those who have been possessed, or those who
I don't believe that if you're Christian or that you're religious that you have to believe in all the other spiritual things like witches and wizards and and ghosts, and I don't believe that you have to believe in that by default. I think they're completely separate.
No, I think they're one and the same, because for you to believe in a God that is spirit, you have to believe that there's a spiritual realm. So whether you necessarily believe, there's witches and wizards, it depends on how many of the spirits you believe are actually there.
The thing here, Ailey, is that you're making claims about a spiritual realm that hasn't been demonstrated, and you're referring to NDEs where people are like talking about their experience and near-death experiences. And so for me, this is testimonial, and each testimony, there are people that provide different explanations. So what we can't do is determine which ones are actually reflective of reality. And so the demonstration for there to be an afterlife isn't there. That needs to be substantiated, and that hasn't been done yet, other than people making testimonial claims which aren't reliable for us to actually draw conclusions about there being an afterlife.
But don't you feel like it's good enough evidence to use children who are within 2 to 3 years of age and have previous knowledge of a life that they've had before that they haven't been exposed to? That's not natural. So that would suggest that there is
There could be something that explains. There could be something else that explains that we're not aware of, or that we're not even.
And that's exactly my point: is the fact that we're not aware of it, and it's something that's beyond our cognitive.
Yeah, but this doesn't immediately assert that there's a spiritual realm or that there's like reincarnation occurring. You're like drawing at these testimonies from children or from people that are experiencing NDEs. And, you know, like we don't understand. And so we don't therefore say, oh, yep, there's an afterlife. There's a problem with your reasoning to try and extrapolate and confirm that there is an afterlife. For me, this isn't strong enough evidence to support the claim you're making.
So what would you consider to be a strong enough link if I were to suggest there was an afterlife? What evidence would you accept?
So for me, if there is some kind of interaction between the spiritual world and the physical world, if this even exists, that interaction should be demonstrable, and we should be able to do that. And at this point, we haven't managed. So do you know what people who are substance dualists?
No, I don't.
So they're people that think that the consciousness is separate from the physical brain. Oh. And so there exists like this so-called realm of consciousness, which I think could probably be more associated with the spiritual realm or whatever. But for me, this is a view in philosophy that's not really held to by a lot of philosophers, because we see that there must be some kind of mechanism to demonstrate that there is this realm where consciousness sits. And in fact, even for myself, being a reductive physicalist, I can't even demonstrate that the brain is tied to, consciousness is tied to the brain. So there's a problem here. It's called the hard problem of consciousness. And this is something that hasn't been answered by philosophers or the scientific field. And so for me, all of these claims that are being stated here are just speculation. And I don't know how people draw strong conclusions about these things. I just think that it's more reasonable to be a reductive physicalist. But
I think
you could find flaws in my reasoning there.
Yeah, but I think all of the claims that we've made today, whether it be scientific or more spiritual, are on the basis of speculation. Of course, when you're speaking about evolution and the Big Bang, you can see it happening in front of our eyes, and I understand that, and that's something that you tell us that we have to accept because we can see it. But it's similarly to when I'm talking about, the testimonial events or people that have seen people in
Wait, but hold up. I understand where you're going with this, but the difference is that these experiments that we can do to prove those things, there's no experiment you can do to prove what you're telling us.
Well,
it's objective evidence.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't. But then we're talking. But I'm sure there. Okay, so when you say experiment, it's not that you would get a few people in a room and call on spirits or anything. Not even to say that it hasn't been done. I guess I haven't searched it up myself. But I think if you were to be in a place of worship or in a holy place, you'd be able to see these things for yourself. So it's not, you can't really expect to see the same type of evidence that you would from a scientific perspective. When you're talking about something that's supernatural, it doesn't make sense.
I understand that, but there's not really any evidence of anything supernatural.
That's not.
I mean, I wouldn't even say the universe is supernatural. I would say that it's just natural.
I wouldn't say that the universe is natural at all. I'd say even with the lady that came up before, the complexities of the universe is not natural. There's a lot of things that happen within the universe that honestly just don't make sense, but it just works.
I mean, sure, dark matter and dark energy and string theory and stuff, sure, but like they're working on that. But like, I think actually, excuse my throat. Robbie will be better at answering this, but I'm sure we can still like mathematically, do things, especially with like dark matter and dark energy. We can observe it still in some sort of way, right? Like the shifting.
Yeah, and I sorry, go on.
So when we talk about dark matter, we see its effect in the physical world. So we don't know what it is, but we see its effects. And this is what I'm trying to point at to here. If we're looking at a spiritual world, we don't see the effects of this. Now, there are mysteries to the universe that scientists don't have an explanation for, but we don't immediately assume that it must be a result of an intelligent designer, because everything thus far within, or supernatural, and so everything thus far within the observable universe, it appears that everything has a natural explanation. There is a couple of things that take issues, that we have issues with, but there are people that are doing research on this. But for me, I don't see the reasoning for why people tie this back and that it must be supernatural or an intelligent designer, because there's no way for us to investigate that.
I think it's because it's just back to the argument as everything comes down to one source, and I understand that the Big Bang is said to be that source of the creation of everything, but I've always just seen it as, why can't science and the Big Bang just be our way of understanding and explaining how God has made things as they are? Because essentially, if God is a supreme being, and he's far more intelligent than us, so we would never be able to grasp the details of to how he does things. So science is the way, in my belief, of understanding that.
So for me, the thing is that when we're going back to the origins of the universe, people have provided multiple different ideas to try and explain this in the scientific field and through religious doctrines. And so for us, in order to see which of these ideas map onto reality, it requires us to go in and investigate through some form of empirical evidence, right? And until we can do that, we have no reason to say we can't draw solid conclusions about any of these ideas out there, other than the fact that we need to do more research. And we just say we don't know. But people say that it must have been God. You can assign that into your belief system, but there's no justification for that. And until we can empirically test it within the scientific field, I have no reason to accept this explanation that you're providing, other than to associate it with speculatism.
But then we just enter this paradox, because we wouldn't be able to provide that evidence when we're talking about a spiritual being that we can't see or touch. But I guess if in regards to that, if God is a spiritual being, then the experience of life itself and all that we see around us is the evidence that God exists. It's us, is what we see, is our life that we experience, is our consciousness. I know earlier you said that you don't equate consciousness to a soul, but I feel that they're quite synonymous to each other, consciousness and soul.
Yeah, that's synonymous. What I don't associate it is that the soul and consciousness is separate from the brain. So I'm a reductive physicalist, which means that I think consciousness is reducible to the constituent parts that make up the brain and all of the interactions between its components. And so for me, there are problems with that worldview, which I understand, but the problems also are associated with people that are substance dualists, people that think that the consciousness is separate from the brain. And so at this point, because we can't scientifically demonstrate which one is correct, all we can do is compare worldviews and see which one actually holds up. And for me, when I look at it, it appears that there are some things that demonstrate. So like if I had like a stroke or something, the function of my consciousness decreases, right? Because that part of the brain has been damaged. And so for me, there seems to be some form of correlation between consciousness and the brain in its configuration. And so, but I still can't show that consciousness is actually reducible to the brain. But I think there's good reason for me to make this, to take this stance, but it does come with issues.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, ultimately, it's so difficult to have this conversation because, I mean, faith is part of belief, but I also feel like faith can also be seen as hope in a sense. And I think those that don't believe in God still also have hope. So in a way, they do understand what it means to have faith, or blind faith rather. So it is difficult to prove that our God exists. You can only really prove it by how you feel and the experience that you have in the world, and by going back to the Word. But ultimately, it just kind of feels that whatever I say, you wouldn't believe what I say unless I actually have the document in front of you, or you can see God. So it's
precisely you would have to demonstrate it for me to be convinced of the claims that you're making. And at this point, there's been no demonstration of there being an intelligent designer of the universe. other than people saying, look at the trees or look at the complexity. This can't happen by accident. And for me, that's just an argument from, I think it's incredulity. I can't remember all the different names for different things.
Yeah, I think for me, I think if the best route Christians can take, especially for this type of discussion, is the faith-based route and the testimonial, and that's just not enough for me. Like, I think at least you're honest and you're not up here trying to justify it by saying, wow, what about this? And, trying to pass that off as evidence. Like, I am glad you're not doing that. At least you're being intellectually honest.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's good.
Yeah, I do think that there are some things missing, but I do think that that's just kind of part of it. I think when I was looking into Christianity and just reading the Bible, there are certain things where I'm like, oh God, like I really just don't understand this. But I think it just comes down to I'm less than God in regards of me as a creation, and I just, even if I tried, I just wouldn't be able to understand everything, even if I wanted to. So I think that is where faith just kind of just comes into play.
I mean, I think like for me, as someone who, for me, I'm agnostic atheist. I cannot disprove God, but I also don't believe that he exists, or even I don't even know if he's a he. I don't know what. I mean, if it's a spirit, I don't think we can gender it. I don't know. There's a lot of things for me that scream nope. And while I can't disprove that there is some sort of high being, it's very much something that I do not believe.
Yeah, I think I'm more so comfortable with the stance of someone feeling like they can't prove that he doesn't exist, but that he does, because at least then it's up in the air and there's not a definite no or yes. But ultimately, I think this is just a discussion that we'll continue to have until the end time comes, and then we can really just see who was right and who wasn't, and that's just the stance that we're going to have to take.
Imagine if the scientists managed to prove that there was a multiverse, right? And that our universe was created from some, I don't know, civilization in another universe. Like, imagine.
Yeah, you know what? I actually have considered that once upon a time. Like, what about if aliens do exist? Then did God create aliens? But I think more so, even if there is a multiverse and there are all these other species as well, I think the ultimate message is just the relationship to God, and that we just need to be one with the Creator at the end of everything. So whether that be me being an alien or me being human, I think the message is the same, and that's ultimately what it's about.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I understand your position, where you're coming from. I don't believe it, but I understand your position, if that makes sense.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for putting me up here. It was a really nice discussion, so thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being, again, like I said, intellectually honest and not being dishonest in this conversation, so...
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, Haley, I'm going to pop down. I'm feeling a bit sick and I need to eat some food. But
no worries.
Thanks again for having me up. I'll probably just have in the background in the comments and commenting from there.
That's all right.
Yeah. So
I mean, there's probably only 14 minutes left anyway because, I put the timer on. If people want to extend the live and keep this going... subscription adds 240 seconds, which is what, 3 minutes, 4 minutes? I can't remember.
I might chill for that 13 minutes then, or 14 minutes then.
Yeah. Sweet as. We might have time. We've got time for another guest. Let's go with you. Thanks everyone that's been following too and liking and subscribing and gifting. I appreciate it. We're halfway we're halfway to the gift goal. And yeah, if you want to send some gifts, that would be very appreciated. If not, hit the follow button for me and hello, just a second. Hit the follow button for me and my co-hosts, and yeah. Otherwise, yeah, I do appreciate the elf hats. What's your name? J Bob? J Rob. Hi. Good. You've got poor reception, I think.
It's the one and only J Rob. Have you met J Rob before?
Yep, seems to be better. They said they can't hear you, so if you could mute and then unmute, that would be great. Robbie, no, I don't know J Rob. I don't think. Maybe I don't know. Okay, if you unmute now, you should be. Hopefully.
I might have the error.
No, it's the mute button. They're still on mute. Oh, there we go.
Is it better now?
We'll find out when the audience. Oh yeah, I've got a thumbs up there. Good now. Yep, you're good. Right, let's go. What's up?
Cool. Yeah, I've been listening. And I guess there were some issues I heard earlier. I kind of forgot what it was, but I'm a Christian, so I believe Jesus rose from the dead. I believe that there are many prophecies within the Bible that have, and I believe we have the evidence to back them up. And also, I feel that atheists, in order to hold their worldview, they have to discredit anybody's supernatural experience just because they haven't experienced them themselves. And I think it's dishonest to say that if it can't be proven by science, then it didn't happen. When science, it only studies the natural world, whereas the supernatural, it's not even qualified. It's not even, a thing for science to even detect.
Right. So how do we prove supernaturality?
So you have to understand the context of what you're looking for, right? I don't look for, if I'm trying to find an atom, right? If somebody's trying to prove an atom, right? If I just say, hey, I can't see it with my eyes, I can't see it with my glasses, I can't see it with my phone, therefore it doesn't exist. And somebody says, no, if you want to find the proof and the evidence, like there's no way to see it unless you use this microscope. Well, you say, well, I don't believe in microscopes, I don't like microscopes. You could be, your eyes could be deceiving you when you look into that microscope, so I don't trust it. So therefore it doesn't exist, there's no evidence. You see how absurd that is?
Well, hold up. No, first of all, I didn't say that. Like I've said it many times. I'm an agnostic atheist. I can't disprove God, but I don't believe it. I think it is fake. Do I have proof that it is? No, but I think it is.
Okay, well, in the same way, if I'm telling you, hey, if you want to see this atom, if you want proof, you have to look in this microscope. And you say, well, I don't know if that works or not, but I'm not going to take the steps to actually find the proof.
Well, I mean, if you look in a microscope and you see something that would show that there's proof, you're like, oh, I can see it. I can see the bacteria.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying.
Great. So that's proof.
If you want proof of God, you have to look at the God that you're trying to prove. Look at the grounds in which because our God, he wants to prove.
Well, can I ask? Well, hold up. That's an interesting thing there. So can I ask you something? Do you think, how many gods do you think there are?
There are many spirits that claim to be God.
Right. So how do we know which one's true? They all claim to be true.
Yeah, the one that has the most evidence to back up that he is God.
Oh, so the Indian God has the. I think the Indian religion has the most evidence.
What's the evidence?
I don't remember off the top of my head. That's why I said I think.
So
but I know but it's not. Well, I didn't say it definitely was. I just said I think from off the top of my head.
No, I'm saying why do you say that you think that they have the most evidence if you don't?
Because I was reading about it. Because I was reading about it like a few weeks ago, and it just came back to my head now. I don't know if it's the Indian one though. That's why I'm like unsure. So I'm not gonna.
Right. I think it was Hinduism, and I think it's because they have the earliest written records of religion.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's. Yeah.
Can I just address something of what J. Rob's saying? J. Rob, like you're adhering to anecdotal evidence for people's experiences, right? And we don't reject people's experiences, right? So, like for example, I've had sleeping paralysis, and it feels like that there's some kind of entity in the room that sits on me and chokes me when I go through this state of paralysis when I'm waking up. Now, I don't immediately assume that this is a demon or a ghost. I just understand that I don't understand everything that's physically going on in my brain and within the room. And so some people would argue that that experience that they're having is something spiritual. And so for me, I can't demonstrate that at this point. Right? I can talk about it and associate my experiences with people, but for me, this isn't reliable enough for me to draw conclusions that it is indeed a ghost sitting on me and choking me, right?
Yeah, I got you, and I'm not really like as a Christian, like I'm not really talking about just any claim of somebody having some type of supernatural experience. Right. I agree that you have to have skepticism when somebody tells you something. And if it's something that you can't really prove, then it's reasonable to have skepticism.
So my point is what I'm trying to say here, J. Rob, is that there's a difference for the different types of evidence. Can I just finish what I'm saying, J. Rob? There's a difference between that form of evidence and the evidence that's required for us to take something to be objectively true or point towards some kind of objective truth, and the scientific evidence that's required needs to be a lot more reliable than one's anecdotal experience.
That's what I'm trying to. You interrupted me when that's exactly what I'm trying to get to. Right, as a Christian, our God tells us how to prove Him and have that evidence and that proof, that revelation. Right, He tells us exactly. You can test the claim that He gives you. So it basically He says if you take these steps, right, this supernatural experience will follow. So if indeed you want to prove His existence and prove that He's real,
well, hold up. What are these steps though? Because I've taken some steps before in the past. I mean, I used to be a Jehovah's Witness, but I've taken steps in the past and nothing. And you said, actually, that comes back to what you said earlier. You said God wants everyone to acknowledge Him. God wants to show Himself to everyone. Why doesn't He? He's all powerful, all knowing. Before humans were even created, he would have foreseen this coming. And I don't understand why He's testing people like this. It doesn't make any sense. If you want people to see you, then make it known.
Just to answer what Haley's saying, J. Rob, I used to be a born-again Christian, and I used to read the Bible and live my life through faith. And so for me, the experiences you're talking about, I agree with Haley. For me, they can't be demonstrated in a way where I now have looked back and just been like, what the hell was I engaged in here? So I'm still extremely skeptical about the claims that you're making about these supernatural experiences, in agreement with what the steps that I took that the Bible was claiming that I should take that didn't manifest into reality.
Yeah, so, okay, I'll just deal with that point, I guess, because I kind of forgot what the other host said. Sorry, Haley, I didn't mean that. So the Bible tells you that you will know Him, right? And the only way to know Him is to be truly filled with His Spirit, which comes through. If you read Acts chapter 2, verse 38, is a commandment to truly repent of your sins and be baptized in the name of Jesus, and you shall receive the gift of the Holy Spirit. And, obviously that comes through faith and believing Jesus died on the cross and rose from the dead, right? Fulfilling the prophecies of the Old Testament. So these are these are basically a treasure map, as you will, right? He's telling you, hey, if you properly perform these steps, you will have 100% proof of him, and you will know him truly. So anybody who has truly been born again, and I understand that many people have been religious and, they practice, their religion, right? But the Bible doesn't teach like this is a religion. This is a supernatural born, birth process, a rebirth process. And if you want to actually prove the existence, you have to have that done. You have to be born again of the water and spirit.
Yeah, I was born into a Christian family, and I was raised as a Christian. So my whole foundation was through being a born again Christian, right? And I was baptized. And so I used to genuinely believe that I had a relationship with God. And so these experiences that you're referring to, I can relate to because I did believe them back in the past.
I don't think you can, because it says that there are certain signs that will follow those that truly believe. And like,
all religious people say that I wasn't a true Christian. It's just
hold on real quick. The Bible tells us who's a true Christian and who's not. So if I'm using the Bible, right? Because a lot of people try to, think that just because you identify as a Christian, that makes you that makes you a Christian, when that's not what the Bible teaches, nor did the early church teach that, right? So you can't like make claims to be a part of
well,
the NBA.
I can, because I was raised in a Christian family, which my parents and my family still hold to their Christian faith.
Yeah,
and we used to go through Bible studies where I was taught that I needed to have a relationship with God, and that I could be born again and experience the Holy Spirit, right?
Yeah, and
what you're saying to me is you are denying the fact that I used to be a Christian, and now that I have rejected my faith, you're trying to undermine my faith in God when I was younger, because I'm going against your current belief in God and your religious belief. And for me, I just find this dishonest.
Well, I was going to say, too, just a small interjection here. It also depends on your denomination, too, because there's some denominations of Christianity that don't believe if someone is actually saved. They can act it and all that other kind of stuff, too. But if they're not, so say if you're Pentecostal, for example, if you're not baptized in the Holy Spirit and you can't speak in tongues, they don't view you as a real Christian. It's a little different for Catholicism. Catholicism still believes that the Reformation branches still fall under Christianity, and they still basically consider them Christian, for lack of a better sense, too. There's also other sects of religion too, like Calvinism, that believes that there's no a true free will, and that if you are saved, there's nothing that you can or can't do about it. It's just going to happen in life. Which is also a very interesting take too. So it's not that you, for example, J-Rob, what denomination are you, just out of curiosity? Maybe that'll help clear things up.
Yeah, if I could, you can't go to people who didn't know Jesus or know the disciples to try to determine what a Christian is, right? If you want to know what a Christian is, you have to go back to Jesus and his disciples and the early church. So very, very clearly, he says that, yes, these signs will follow them that believe. That's what Jesus said. That's not what my pastor said. That's not what, the Jehovah's Witness said or whatever. I'm saying, if you want to know what Christianity is, you got to go back to Christ and his followers and his early church that he established, right? So, if you think you were a Christian, you can think that all you want, but you weren't a biblical Christian, right? So, I'm not trying to
downplay your
denomination. Did you say, Rob? What denomination?
Hold on, real quick. I'm not trying to downplay your experience.
Justin asked you a question, and I just want to know what denomination.
Wait, hold on. Y'all keep interrupting me, and then three of y'all go talking, and now I'm trying to address what I was originally addressing. Just let me finish.
Yeah, because then we will have to. We can figure out which denomination I was and what you were. I was Pentecostal. What were you?
Yeah, I mean, when I became a Christian, I was a Pentecostal too, right? That's not like your denomination doesn't make you a Christian. Okay.
Yeah, but so we're always going to have disagreements if we, when it comes to, as Justine was pointing out, right?
No, I'm just stating
there's
that
still a philosophy behind those denominations, though, too, and a reasoning of why they choose to believe certain things. So when you go back to the early church and you point to the early church, there's still problems that early church was established to create a canonical scripture, right? So if you're some of the one of the biggest things that the early church had a problem with was heresy in the form of books that weren't considered canonical. So this is where you get things like the Apocrypha from, that some sects of Christianity still hold to, while others do not. Pentecostals do not hold to the Apocrypha, while the early church, there's a high probability that it could have. I just think it's so funny too. You guys are both Pentecostal. So J-Rob, Robbie was still technically saved by your standards of being saved.
Yeah, I was Pentecostal for the vast majority of my life, and then I deconstructed, which took years. But yeah, I'm glad I did in the end.
All right, we're going to wrap it up now because we've only got 30 seconds left. I mean, obviously we can go over it, but when I say go over, I mean a couple of minutes, but I want to wrap it up. So, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Haley. Always a pleasure hanging out with you. And nice to meet you.
Absolutely.
Is it Justin or Justine? Sorry, I hope I'm not saying it wrong.
Yeah, it's Justine.
Oh, cool. Perfect. And J-Rob, nice chatting with you. I'll see you in another live, I'm sure.
all right, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I want to thank everyone that's been here tonight. Thank you. I haven't been live for a few days, so it was a nice chill live tonight. Yep, I will do these lives. I might even do this topic again tomorrow to get to the guests and the guest requests that I wasn't able to bring up tonight. So do hit the follow button if you did enjoy watching this, because I will do it again tomorrow. And try and hopefully get through some more guests. I maybe should make a limit on how long I spend with some people, because some of the guests, especially Ngaru, took a long time to get the rubbish out. So, but
oh my gosh,
yeah. But yeah, I appreciate everyone that sent gifts and the subscriptions, and everyone that followed. I do appreciate it. And to everyone in the guest box, yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't get to you, but next time. Thank you to the mods as well. And is anyone live, Justine, that we could maybe send some people to? Go on raid?
I can go look real fast. I'll drop down.
Okay. In the meantime, I'll turn the comments back off of sub only, because I always forget to turn them off in my live the next day. But yeah, I appreciate you all. If anyone does know of anyone that's live that is part of this group that I hang out with, and people that I know, and people that I know, no ending live as soon as I join. Oh yeah, Charlie, I've been live for a few hours, so no one's live right now. Oh, is Maria live? No debate lives, just hangouts. Oh. Yes, would love someone to raid. I know, it doesn't seem like... No, you're doing great, Robbie. I love it. Yeah, okay. No one's live to raid, so perfect. We'll just end it. But thanks everyone. Good night.